The Hoshin Planning or Lean Strategy Deployment Process. Hoshin Planning, also referred to as Hoshin Kanri or Lean Strategy Deployment, is a process for forming and actioning breakthroughs that significantly change the position of an organization and its external environment through strategically aligned business objectives and metrics that are driven from both top-down and bottom-up activity. This process emerged out of efforts that drove Japan's dramatic transformation and rebuild following the Second World War. During this period, Japanese firms looked far and wide for ideas on how to deliver significant performance breakthroughs. This included ideas on how to solve the emerging and critical management challenges of the time, such as improving quality, minimizing waste, aligning different levels of the organization, and ensuring the flow of ideas both top-down and bottom-up. Hoshin Planning evolved as a response to these issues and offered organizations a vehicle for making and sustaining dramatic performance breakthroughs. Hoshin Planning was brought together and developed from a combination of Miyamoto Musashi's teachings used to guide samurai warriors, Joseph M. Juran's teachings about management's role in leading quality improvement efforts, Edward Deming's teachings about quality management and the Plan, Do, Check, Act (PDCA) cycle, and lessons learned from companies participating in the Deming Prize in Japan. It also incorporated some of Peter Drucker's work on management by objectives. In 1965, Bridgestone Tire analyzed and published a report on the planning techniques of companies winning the Deming Prize. These techniques were given the name Hoshin Kanri, or Hoshin Planning in English. They became widely accepted and used in Japan by 1975. By the early 1980s, Hoshin Planning had spread into some pockets of the United States, mainly introduced from Japanese-based subsidiaries of U.S. companies that were winners of the Deming Prize. This included, for example, Japanese subsidiaries of Fuji Xerox and Hewlett-Packard. But Hoshin Planning was not greatly shared amongst U.S. organizations, as companies considered it a secret source of competitive advantage and did not want to share it. Its spread was partially catalyzed by the success of lean manufacturing and the growing interest in and adoption of lean principles and concepts outside of manufacturing. It is largely through adoption of lean principles and concepts that Hoshin Planning has reached mainstream adoption. The key steps in Hoshin Planning process are: 1. Establish a clear organization vision. 2. Develop 3 to 5 year breakthrough objectives. 3. Develop annual objectives. 4. Deploy annual objectives. 5. Implement annual objectives. 6. Undertake regular progress review. And 7. Undertake annual reviews. Hoshin Planning practitioners and researchers unpack each step in the process and outline the objectives of each step as well as the different ways those objectives can be achieved. In our book, Strategy, Execution, and Complexity, Thriving in the Era of Disruption, we explain the dynamics of this process, the strengths and limitations of the process, the unique role, activities it requires strategic leaders to perform, and how employees at all hierarchical levels and in all parts of the organization can maximize their contribution to strategy within the process. If this process doesn't fit your organization's setting or your personal leadership style, we also identified 12 other processes used to execute strategy. We're confident the book will be one of the best strategy execution books you read. We invite you to check out our curated strategy execution resource guide at www.strategyandcomplexity.guide.